Peace. It's Asaya Mystic. What's up? I'm here giving you your free gift that will help you start creating the life you love right now. And you know, a lot of people think that they know who they are, they know where they're going, and they know why they're going in the direction that they're going. But honestly, when I ask a lot of people, their answers are very vague, and I feel like deep down, we're maybe not being as honest with ourselves that we think that we are. We're probably not being that honest with ourselves. And so that may not be you, that may not be your scenario, but I feel that it is a presence, it is something that is here that we should get to the bottom of. And when it comes to creating the life you love, creating your reality, you gotta know who you are. You gotta know who's inside of this vessel that we're operating and what this vessel, what they're good at, what they're not good at, what they're privy to, what they're not so privy. You gotta know the ins and outs of you. And so the best way to getting down to who you are is to ask yourself, if the world could see me, what would I look like? If the world knew me and the world called out my name, what would they think of when they called out my name, when they called me out? These are the things, the little things that is telling us who it is that we're actually here to be. That person that we want others to see us as. So I want you to get out your pen and paper and write down who it is that you are. Ooh, you saw that fly? Big fly just flew across my face. Write down who it is that you are. Write down how you would love the world to see you. What you want others to see in you. That is the biggest thing that lets us know who it is that we're supposed to be. What do you geek out on? What do you obsess about? Obsess is kind of not the greatest term, but what do you think about and study, and whenever you hear about it, you're just so interested and you got to know more about this subject, and you got to know more about this topic or whatever, because it gives you a sense of yourself. It helps you understand you more and more. The more you dig into this topic, the more you feel like you're unveiling a part of you that you didn't even really know existed before. Little things like that. What are those things? Write them down so you can have a guideline of who it is that you are and what you're actually good at, right? So a lot of times people want to make us feel like we're like a bad person because we're not good at certain things. We may not be privy to certain things. That's not our fault. It's just who we are. And we shouldn't focus on those things anyway. What we should focus on is what we're good at. The things that we're good at will then enable us to overcompensate for all the stuff that we may not be so good at. For example, me myself, I geek out, I study on, I want to learn more and more and more about what? About astrology, about different dimensions, about the stars, the planet, the sun, the moon. I want to geek out about nature and higher level knowledge. I want to geek out on spiritual stuff, because that's the stuff that I'm good at. That's the stuff that allows me to uncover more and more of me. I love animals. I've always loved animals as a child. And so I had to realize that this plays a part in who it is that I am and what I'm supposed to be doing here. Hence why I offer my animal oracle card readings. I utilize the animal's energy that I love so much to now benefit me and my life and help me give back to the world, give back to society, shine my light on others. And so, what is that thing for you? I always wanted people to look at me as this like genius. Like if ever there was an issue, I would love for people to just ask Asaya. Ask Asaya. She's so wise. Ask Asaya. You know, and when people wouldn't come to me, and actually when people would actually think lower or lesser than like my intelligence, I would be so offended, right? But it's not their fault, because they're just being themselves. But this is the way I reacted to that action. And so that says something about me, about who I am. That says something about my whole persona, my whole personality, my whole my soul, my spirit, everything. That is telling you who you are. So take note of that. Take note of the things that might bother you. Take note of the things that make you feel good. Those are the things that are telling you who it is you are, what you're good at, and who you want to be while you're here. Very important, very essential, and trust me, you will not create anything in this reality unless you know thyself. You see thyself. You see who you are. The next thing that you have to know when you're creating, you have to know your direction. You have to see your journey. You don't have to know the steps. And that's something that I emphasize a lot. Don't get caught up in the how everything is going to happen and lay out and fall into place for you. Because at the end of the day, you're not in charge of that. Your mind isn't, at least. What your mind is in charge of, your mind is in charge of thinking with your heart. Your mind is in charge of attracting and sending out the signal for what it is you would love to receive. That's what your mind is in charge of. So don't get caught up in the how. Am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? How am I gonna... No, you focus on where. Where is your ideal place of existing? You just had the best year of your life. You had the best 3 months of your life. You had the best 5 years of your life. You had the best 20 years of your life. What did those years look like? Define those years. Define the feeling. Lay out those thoughts. Describe to me, describe to yourself what your dream is. What is your dream? What is your goal? What do you want to see? Where is that? Be specific, not with the how, but with the where. Be specific with yourself so much. I want details. I want juicy, dripping, just taste so good details about where your life should be, where you want it to be, where it is already. Give me something. Give yourself something to pivot from. Right? You're going 1,000 miles an hour on a speedboat. Okay, you could go to any country or any place in this sphere of existence. You could just go anywhere. And like, you're going so fast, but like, you don't know where you're going. Chances are you're gonna get lost. You're gonna crash somewhere. You're gonna end up here, end up there. You're just gonna kind of get jumbled around, and somebody else is gonna end up dictating where you're gonna end up, right? Because you're so lax, you're so willy-nilly and chill about it all. You set no clear standard for yourself, so let's get grounded a little bit within the dream. Let's get grounded a little bit and tell ourselves where exactly we want to be. Growing up for me, I went to school, I went to college, I graduated. It wasn't until I hit rock bottom, it wasn't until I got shuffled around so much in life that I realized I have to let myself know, I have to let myself dictate, or not so much dictate, but be in charge of where I'm going, what I'm doing, who's coming into my life, who's coming out of my life. I had to set the precedent for that, because before I wasn't. And all kinds of stuff was happening, right? Things would go left, things would go right. And then I would end up running away from what I let turn into chaos. So I made the decision, I don't want to run away anymore. I don't want to take off and never look back anymore. That's not what I want for myself. I want to face my life with the courage and the trust that I am capable, more than capable, of being in charge of my own destiny. What I want for myself, what I don't want for myself. I am very much so deserving of being able to do that, and I'm more than capable of doing that. And that's the same mindset that I want you all to adopt as well, that you are more than capable of setting the precedent and taking the steering wheel. I mean, taking a hold of the steering wheel and trusting in yourself enough to know that you will not crash, as long as you know what it is you're doing. As long as you see what it is you're doing, right? So write that down, bullet point all of that, bullet point what you want, right? Where you're going. the things that you know you want to see within the next however many so years. Write down everything that will make you so happy, that will make you so in love with your life. Right? Write it all down. Write it all down. All right, and the last thing that I want you guys to make sure that you are aware of, because this whole shebang that I'm giving you guys is to stimulate your awareness, right? You have to be aware. Whenever you're creating, you gotta be aware. And I know y'all, I love playing in my hair, and see, I'm aware of that just in making this video, because I'm staring at myself playing in my hair. But we've got to be aware to begin the process of creation. We have to be aware to some extent. And so my last question that I have for you, that I also want you to write down the answer, is why? Why? I ask people this question so sporadically when they tell me about their goals, their wishes, their dreams. And I say, well, why? Like, why? And they give me an answer that is very dry, or, you know, it doesn't move me. And I want your answer to not only move me, but it needs to move you in such a way that whenever you feel like quitting, whenever you feel like giving up, whenever you feel like moving on to something else, this why holds on. Like, I mean, it pulls at your heart and it makes you keep going. It's your drive. But you gotta know the real why, not a simple loose, like, just really, like, not even real why. So for me, I ask myself why 7 times. And this is a practice that I got from a book I read, right? It's called Millionaire Success Habits. Love that book. I asked myself why 7 times, and 7 is the spiritual number. 7 is the number of divine, your higher self. 7 is the highest self, essentially the highest power. Essentially, that's why they call it the God number. But I asked myself why 7 times. I said, Asaya, why do you want to be financially free? Why do you want, to own multiple homes? Why do you want to create the businesses that you want to create? Why are you doing anything that you're doing right now? I had to ask myself 7 times. Initially, my answer was, because I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of my daughter. I want her to have someone to look up to. Ask myself again, because, I want to give back to the world. Why do I want her to look up to me? I want her to be able to have that role model, that person that she can watch and learn from as a woman, that I feel like I got from multiple women, and I couldn't get that necessarily from just my mom, because they were going through their emotional stuff and other people were going through. I don't want to be that mom that goes through all of this stuff and it takes me 50 years to realize one thing, and then now I'm back on this whole new journey. No, I want her to learn from me now. I want her to see what it means to be a real woman, and embody my power, embody my spirit, embody who it is that I am, and be so in tune with that. Nobody can take that away from me. I ask myself why some more times, and my end all be all is that life is the most important thing to me. And I know that this life that I have is so important for me to get to my next level. I don't want to waste this life learning lessons repeatedly, right? Because sometimes we repeatedly go through trials and tribulations because we haven't fully soaked in the lesson that it is we need to learn. But I want to learn them, and I want to move on. This is the only life that I have. This is my one life that I have, and I'm going to make the most of it. And I'm going to show my daughter what it means to live, what it means to be free, what it means to be who I am, and nobody can stop me. Nothing can touch me. Yeah, that was a super deep why, but I'm telling y'all this because I really want to inspire you and get you to see that when you have your core of everything you do figured out, and that core moves you and it moves everyone else around you when you talk about it, that's a real why. And that's something that you need to figure out, you want to figure out, and you get to figure out. This is a journey that I'm going on, and I want you to join me. Figure out your why, who it is you are, where it is that you're going, and why. And watch so many things start to unravel. Right? You begin to take action on these things that you're writing down right now. Meditate on it, take action on it. No big steps. It could be little stuff, little things. Begin to take action on it and watch how the universe starts to move for you. It starts to be like, hey, they're on to something. They're on to something. Let's throw them some of this. Let's throw them some of that. See if they can handle it. Because to be real with you, the biggest reason why a lot of us feel like we're stuck in a certain place, in a certain realm of existing, is because we don't think we're capable of more. We don't think we deserve more. We don't think we can have more. But I want to tell you that you can. And so take all of this information, write all of this stuff down, get you a notebook, you know what I'm saying, so you can have more space to write down all of these things related to who you are, all of these things related to where it is you like to be, and all of these things related to your why. Revisit it and add more to it as the spiral goes on. And I will always be here, right? To keep inspiring you and pushing you and guiding you. This was Asai Mystic, and create your reality, create your life, and make sure it's one that you love